really wrote the first 5 books of the Bible? The mystery of the Torah. Hey, quick question. Who do you think wrote the first 5 books of the Bible? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, the big 5. If you said Moses, you're in good company, but also maybe not entirely right. Because here's the thing, the story of who actually wrote them, it's way more complicated than most Sunday school lessons. It's got mystery, contradictions, multiple anonymous authors, and yeah, maybe Moses didn't even write a single sentence. This is the kind of rabbit hole where you go in thinking you'll just learn a fun fact and come out rethinking everything you thought you knew about the Bible. Let's start with the classic view. Moses wrote all 5 books. That's been the traditional teaching in both Judaism and Christianity for centuries. Why? Because the books constantly talk about Moses, especially in Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. One verse even says, Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. So it makes sense that people assumed he was the author. Plus, Moses was the guy. He freed the Israelites from Egypt, had direct chats with God, and came down from Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments like a spiritual action hero. But then, there's a bit of a problem. At the end of Deuteronomy, Moses dies. And the story doesn't just say, and he died. It gives a whole post-death reflection, including the fact that no one knows where he's buried to this day. So unless Moses wrote his own obituary from beyond the grave, we've got some explaining to do. And that's just the beginning. Scholars eventually started noticing things that didn't quite line up, like the creation stories in Genesis. In chapter 1, animals are made first, then humans. In chapter 2, man comes first, then the animals. Same Bible, 2 different sequences. Then there's the matter of God's name. Sometimes he's called Elohim, other times Yahweh. Occasionally, both, in the same sentence. And the writing styles? All over the place. Some parts feel like campfire stories with emotion and drama. Others read like a divine legal code with step-by-step priestly procedures. It started looking less like one author and more like a group project. You know, the kind where everyone writes their own part in completely different tones, and someone tries to stitch it all together the night before it's due. Enter the documentary hypothesis. Meet J, E, P, and D. So here's where modern biblical scholars come in with what's called the documentary hypothesis. Basically, the Torah was written by at least 4 major sources, each with their own style, perspective, and time period, and later edited into one big scroll.